Hi, so today I'm going to do the 100,000 subscriber video. People keep asking me to do the 100,000 subscriber video, and I didn't really know what to do for the 100,000 subscriber video. This isn't really that type of channel where I have milestones and, I have like the giveaways and shit like that. This is not really your standard YouTube channel. I've been told every single day from like 50 subscribers to the present, that if I want people to actually watch and listen to my videos, that they need to be shorter. That these long videos are just, nobody has time for this. Nobody, even if they did have time, wants to watch this. And I'm just sitting here and looking at the Social Blade stats of like 4,000 new subscribers a day. And yeah, you know what? There may be a lot of people out there that don't like this stuff. But there are a decent amount that do. So I'm going to keep doing exactly what I do right now. Exactly what feels comfortable and exactly what makes sense for me. And yeah, anyway, so moving on to this, the 100,000 subscriber video. So I wasn't really sure what to talk about. And then this thing happened that happens in New York every now and then, where like the trains stop in the middle of the track, not because somebody jumped in, not because the track broke, but I think like the train just wants to smoke crack with the other train, so they just stop for 20 minutes or a half hour. No apologies, no we'll be moving shortly, just randomly stops. And what I do at these times is I try to clear my mind. I think a lot of people are down on meditating, kind of for the same reason that they're down on veganism. Like people, they're just afraid that if they start doing it, that they're going to become this 97-pound pretentious person that thinks they're better than everybody else. And I've never really been into the whole meditating with the the special music and the hum kind of thing, but I'm very much so into the idea of clearing my mind every now and then and really just trying to remove every thought from my mind and to stay in that peaceful state for a while. And then when I'm done clearing my mind, looking really hard at the first things that come into my mind afterwards. So since I was thinking about the 100,000 subscriber video and I had that half an hour in that unair-conditioned train car to think, I tried my best for at least about 10 or 15 minutes to clear my mind, and after I cleared my mind, I just started thinking of the first things that came to mind. And the first things that came to mind had to do with my goals and why I actually started this YouTube channel. So it went really back to, I guess, early childhood and teenage years. I remember being made fun of a lot, not just for being small, but also for the clothes that I wore. So I went to a school where everybody had nice shoes, nice clothes, brand name everything. And I had, cheap Everlast shit from Kmart. So my mother was ill from when I was a very young age, and my dad, since other people in my family weren't really doing much to help my mother, he decided that he was going to take some time off of work to help my sick mother. And one of the problems that you're going to run into in your career if you decide to take time off to help sick family or if you get sick yourself is that it hurts your career progression, it hurts your income. And he wasn't somebody who was particularly independently wealthy, so we didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of money growing up. Again, we had a home, I had a bed, we had air conditioning, and if I was able to get the antenna in the right position on rare occasion, I could watch channel 5 or 11. But for the most part, we didn't grow up with a lot. So I didn't have a lot of money. And the kids at my school, they loved rubbing that shit in. I forget the names of them. I know if I went through my yearbook, I'd be able to pronounce them properly or remember them properly. So I'm butchering the names. It was like Joe Zygeme and Chris Quad Reno, Quad Pens. I don't remember the exact fucking names. If I go through the yearbook, I know it's going to drive me nuts. I'm going to go, I knew it was that! And I didn't say it, but, But there were these kids that just used to they love doing the whole picking on you for what you wear shit. And I remember this one day at lunch in 6th or 7th grade, this one kid yelled, Kmart! And he held up a Kmart bag that he saw, and he's like, Kmart! 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 And he's looking at me, and then all the other kids on the table look at me, and they start giggling and laughing because I'm wearing clothes that came from Kmart, and they're not. And I think also about the times that I was sitting in class, and these kids next to me are like, hey, where'd you buy your shoes? And this is an important life lesson I learned later on in life, but I hadn't learned the life lesson yet of not caring what people think of me, because I was always getting picked on for wearing cheap shit. So I decided to lie one day, and I said Foot Locker or something for some reason. They're like, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. I know you couldn't afford that. I know you couldn't pay for that. You know why you couldn't pay for that? Because you're poor, and all this other bullshit. And I think about that, and then I look at my life right now, and I look at YouTube, and I just kind of looked at the jump from here to here. I looked at that jump, and I looked up what my income on YouTube was, and then I looked up the results for the census for my zip code. And my YouTube revenue right now is like teeny tiny bicicleta, as Cartman would say, away from the average person's income in my zip code. Now, I don't live in a great neighborhood, so that's not really saying a lot. I don't live in this, fancy schmancy neighborhood. I've talked about that. I don't live in a great neighborhood a lot. I love my apartment. It's a beautiful, spacious apartment. A nice, 2 or 3 second reverb time when you clap. It's beautiful. But it's not in a great neighborhood. So that's not a lot, but still, my YouTube revenue is almost the same as, again, I film my job. I upload that job to the internet. I talk into a camera about the shit that bothered me that day, which is pretty much my form of personal therapy. And I do that, and as a result of me filming my work, I'm actually making almost as much money as somebody next door to me who's going to work every single day for that same amount of money. And I think about that. And I also think about the fact that the amount of money I make right now pales in comparison to what I make at my actual business. And I wonder to myself, so if so many things have changed, then why is it in most of these videos that I'm still wearing, again, this is one of the most expensive shirts I owned. It was $15. I got it on Black Friday when I bought a bundle of these shirts on Black Friday last year, and I haven't been wearing them for a while. But the most expensive shirt I own is $15. Most of my shoes, up until the ones I'm wearing now, were $35 Pumas. I wear, again, I have these Hanes undershirts that cost $5 that I'm wearing in most videos. Again, instead of paying money for the good acoustic panels, I decided to build my own with a friend with fucking burlap that my cats use in Owens Corning fiberglass that my cats use as scratching posts. Outside of the fact that I have nice speakers, I have these Vandersteens at home, and I have Vandersteen Model 3As at home and TLCS 3.6. Outside of that, I don't have a nice car. I don't have a vacation home. I don't have all these things, but I could afford them. I could afford all those things. So I'm kind of thinking to myself, so I have the money now. So again, my YouTube account probably makes more money than the entire salary of some of those bullies that made fun of me when I was a kid for not having a lot of money. My YouTube account alone probably makes more money than they do. Not even to say my core business and everything else that I do. And yet I don't have any of those things, and I was thinking about why that is. And a lot of people feel the need to prove themselves. They feel like they didn't have this as a kid, so when I'm an adult, I have to prove myself. And I was picked on for not having this, so when I'm an adult, I'm going to prove myself. I was picked on for being fat as a kid, so when I'm an adult, I am going to starve myself, and they overcompensate. So some of the things that I'm proud about are that I never felt the need to overcompensate. I'm still the exact same person that I was back then. I'm a little bit more mature, I know more, but I haven't really changed in terms of I'm going to show them. Because if I walk down the street, the way that I dress and the things that I say, most people are not going to think that I make more than $20,000 a year. And so that's kind of cool. But then I look at where I spent my money. So I made that money. I look at where am I spending my money? Where did I spend it when my business finally became successful? Where did I spend that money when I finally rose from having shit? And it all went back, and actually, ironically, I didn't like that I was picked on for not having money. So instead of, when I got money, using that money for myself, I actually started using it on other people. I bought a $1,000 microscope camera. I bought a $300 capture card. I bought $2,000 worth of SSDs to store the raw video footage that thing shoots out at 250 megabytes a second while I'm recording board repair videos. I spent $2,300 in a camcorder. I spent money on microphone stuff. And I invested time and effort into all of this stuff to do what it is I'm doing now, all so that I could help other people get out from not having money. And I think that that's a really cool thing, because it really could have went the other way. It could have turned into this bullshit where I'm never happy with how much money I make, and where I'm always trying to make up for what I didn't have as a kid or what I was made fun of for as a kid. But as an adult, it just became something to laugh at. I have enough money right now that I could not work for several years in an expensive city like New York, and there's a really good chance that I'd be just fine. And in spite of that, I'm sitting here with the cheapest Logitech mouse that you can buy on Amazon, a $180 Android phone from Motorola, which is the cheapest fucking Motorola phone that runs Android you can buy. I'm refilling this bottle of water rather than buying a new one. So that's pretty cool. And I also really, I found out that what my goals with this channel were to really help the lives of others that started where I did. So if you're changing careers, or if you don't have the time to go to work the same way you did before, I think it's really cool that you can go over to a recycling center, pick up some broken shit, watch some of my videos, fix it on your own time, on your own schedule if you're helping take care of a sick individual like my father was, that you could do something like that and make real money off of it from these videos. So, you know, I met somebody who said, be a part of the change you want to see in the world, and I really wish that my childhood had been different. I really wish that things could have been a little bit different than they were. So and part of it had to do with money. So I like kind of being able to help other people be financially independent. Again, for me, being financially independent is not about, I look at all the money I make so I can buy a fancy car and get an expensive haircut and wear expensive shoes and all that shit. It's really about, okay, I'm financially independent. I know that I don't have to worry about money. So now let me wear a $15 shirt, $10 pants, take the train to work, and help and do something fun. And I look at that, and it's just kind of interesting. And I've actually, one of my friends suggested doing this, and he was talking about, like, I have a friend who talks about this. I've said in the Facebook comments a lot on my bullying video, but he says that the purpose of Facebook, the sole purpose of Facebook is to look up the bullies and look up the people who made fun of you so that you could see the pictures of them working at Walgreens bagging groceries. And I don't mean this in an offensive way to people at Walgreens who bag groceries. I will never pick on somebody for doing what they need to do to feed their family. I will never pick on you. I will never belittle you for doing whatever it is you need to do to pay your rent. That's doing what you need to do to live your life is an honorable thing. My dad always said, it didn't matter what it came down to. It didn't matter what injury I got or what job I lost. If I had to, I would pump gas to feed my family. And I think that's something to take pride in. However, if you're one of those motherfuckers that's saying, look, Kmart, oh, Louis wears Kmart, and I look you up, and 15 years later, it's like you're bagging groceries at Walgreens, then yeah, I'll make fun of you, Again, there's no shame in it, unless you're the guy that was making fun of people for 7 years and laughing with everybody else because somebody happened to be poor because of shitty circumstance. But one of the really fun things to do with this channel, one of the things I love doing with this channel is helping other people on their path to financial independence. And again, just getting the messages, looking at the actual physical mail I've gotten, or people have sent me pictures saying, this is where I lived before, this is where I lived after I started watching your channel. This is what I was working out of before. This is the store that I now have after I watch your channel. And like just getting that stuff is really rewarding. It's fun. And it's something that it's not something I really thought, to be honest with you, I thought that this channel was talking to an audience of about 300 people. That's all I ever expected. That's why when people say things like, your videos are too long, they're never going to communicate to a proper audience, I never cared because I never thought I was talking to so many people. I thought I was talking to an audience of 300, but there are a lot of people that have been helped by this. And one of the other interesting things I thought I'd mention at 100,000 subscribers is this bet that Eli has. So Eli, the computer guy, is a channel that I started watching around 2010. He has this bet, which I haven't shook hands on yet, so even if he winds up being right, I don't have to pay. That's the cool thing about bets and not having that handshake. But one of the things here is that his bet is that in 3 years that I'll be making 3 or 5 years that my primary revenue stream will be YouTube content creation, and that this is going to be my full-time primary job doing this. And here's why I bring this up. The reason I bring this up is interesting that Eli's talked about that. I've done a lot of videos on philosophy on this channel. I've done a lot of videos on business ethics and all that and what I think and dealing with customers and dealing with people. And they're all well and good. And I had maybe 500 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, 1,100 subscribers. Closer to 500. And then I start doing these board repair videos, which is pretty much what I'm doing here is I'm showing you computer repair. And then I got 2,000, then 5,000, then 10,000, then 20,000, then 40,000, then 60,000, now 100,000. By the time I fucking upload this video, this shit's probably going to be at 110 or 120,000. That's not a joke. With how bad the internet is in my apartment, I probably will be over 110,000 subscribers when I upload this damn video. We'll see, maybe even 120 or something. And that's been off of me doing videos on computer repair. Because again, I did a lot of videos on my thoughts on business and ethics and life and all that. And again, it was all well and good and I got 500 subscribers. But I started doing all these videos and this other stuff. And now it's up to 110,000. And Eli, the computer guy, has all these videos. He's like, computer repair is dead. Don't do computer repair. All the computer repair people are out there. All the computer repair people are out there in the middle of the ocean going, I'm drowning, please help me. It's terrible. Don't do computer repair. And now, years later, that same dude that made all those videos, that made all ththose comments, that made all those snide comments, is now literally betting that my channel that teaches computer repair, for the most part when you dumb it down, is going to be my primary source of income, that it is going to become a six-figure salary, not even doing the job, because doing the job is far more profitable than filming it, but that just the videos themselves are actually going to be worth more than any other thing I can do for a living. And these videos are in computer repair. So it's one of those times you just gotta sit and laugh at like some of the stuff that you thought. And this is one of the things I wanna get across with you. I did a video that I entitled, Fuck Your Heart, not fuck your heart, that sounds bad. It was follow your heart, fuck everyone else's advice. That was my video, it was follow your heart, fuck everyone else's advice. I did it several years ago. And in the video, I said, if you really believe in what you're doing, not because you believe in it like the same way a kid believes in Santa. I mean, if you believe deep down that you're actually doing some good in the world, keep doing what you're doing and fuck what everybody else is saying. I agree with a lot of what Eli, the computer guy, says. And as I said in another video, a lot of people think that I hate him. I don't hate him. I think every now and then he needs to be taken down a little bit of a notch because he does, for all the shit he says about not having, he does have an ego sometimes. And he does go a little bit overboard and shit and like assuming that he knows what somebody else is talking about, assuming he understands a perspective that he may not understand. But for the most part, I respect his content, I respect his videos, I respect his advice, and for the most part, I would say on 90% of the things that you're going to ask me, I think he would answer in the same way. Like if you had a question and I wasn't able to answer that question, I would feel comfortable saying go to Eli and that the answer that you were going to get from him was pretty much the same or better than the answer you're going to get from me. I respect a lot of his content and I respect him as an individual. But at the same time, if I had followed the advice from Eli's videos, would I even be in a position right now to where he's making a $100 bet that I'm going to be making a six-figure salary off of YouTube content creation? Just one of those things to think about. One of those things to think about when I say things like, follow your heart, fuck everybody else's advice. If you really believe in what you're doing and you genuinely believe that what you're doing is good for the world, will make a difference, will make a dent, that people are willing to pay for what you're offering and you just believe in it for good reasons, not bullshit reasons, not that you're lying to yourself, but you believe in it for good reasons, keep going. Keep going. Again, the idea that Eli the computer guy 5 years ago would actually be making a bet that me doing computer repair videos is going to make me a six-figure salary. It's just like I wouldn't imagine. But that shit does happen. Things do change over time. So I like that. I like that this channel has been part of kind of that I've helped to demonstrate that concept of just following your heart and fuck everyone else's advice. The other thing I wanted to talk about here is there was this one dude about 4 or 5 years ago that I remember, this is before I even had videos on YouTube. He was really pissed off that I moved into a store that was in his neighborhood. And he was a very, very jealous individual. He had 3 or 4 stores at the time. Now, thanks to karma, he has one, barely. But he was a very jealous guy, and he was really pissed off that I was moving into the same neighborhood as him. And he meets with me to have lunch, and he pretty much says, listen, I got a lot of partners, a lot of investors that want to invest in me. And I'm not saying this is a threat. I'm not saying I want to be mean. It's just that they're looking at every piece of competition of their investment. And they want to know, how do we get rid of anything that's going to potentially ruin our investment? So they're going to be looking at your business. You're going to be thinking, like, is he doing everything right? Is he doing everything the way he's supposed to do? And if he's not, what can we do to kind of get rid of him? And what he was implying there is that, oh, he's too nice to do anything. He just was showing genuine concern for me. And implying that, if I was doing anything I wasn't supposed to, that they were going to shit-can me and shut me down. But none of that's going to happen if I accept his offer of $80,000 to leave my business behind and close my store. Which, again, I mature as I age, I think differently as I age, I react differently as I age, but my reaction to that was pretty much a very polite version, because he was paying for lunch, very polite, fuck you. Very, 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 the most polite fuck you that I could think of. And he said, listen, why don't you just take the money? And this is one of the quotes that I want to impart onto you here. You're never going to change the world through computer repair. There's better ways to change the world than through computer repair. Because again, for all of what I talk about in this channel, for the most part, my primary form of income is fucking computer repair. You're never going to change the world through it. And I think about that, and I think about all the topics I've had in this channel. Again, like 110,000 people are currently subscribed to this channel. Or 100 or whatever. I really don't know what the number is going to be by the time Optimum Online gets this fucking video up to YouTube. But A lot of people are subscribed, and a lot of the comments that I get are, I don't come for the repair videos, I come for the life advice. I don't come for the videos, I come for the business stuff. I don't come for this, I come for when you're talking about how to deal with potential partners or how to deal with employees that you have to fire and shit like that. And I talk about all these different concepts in the business playlist and the core philosophy playlist. All these concepts I talk about, but I talk about them from the perspective of a small laptop repair store owner in Manhattan. So me doing computer repair has served as the catalyst for discussing all of these other issues and for helping a lot of people. Again, like all these videos that I've done where I get these messages, and I'm not saying this to like inflate my own ego. I never asked to get these stuff in the mail, but when I get something in the mail that says, this is what I do now, this is what I did before, look at the difference in my lifestyle, thank you for helping me achieve this. It's like that stuff kind of does change. When somebody is able to send their children to a better school because rather than bagging groceries at Walgreens or some shit, they're going to recyclers, picking crap up for $20 and turning it into $600 by soldering in a 50-cent fuse or resistor. That's cool. I like that. And it's like he always said, you're never going to change the world through computer repair. And it's funny because so much of his business has gone to shit. So, so many stores have closed. So much has changed, and it's like this just keeps going up, and it keeps affecting more and more people, and I get more and more messages from people that are interpreting the things that I had to say in ways I never thought it would be interpreted, and applying it to their own life to better themselves, to find the content that I've made motivational to them, that other people have gotten themselves motivated, that they've gotten themselves out of depression, that they decided to finally start a business, get up off their ass, stop making excuses for themselves, and make something of their life. All through me recording my job of talking about computer repair. So the idea, again, that you're not going to change the world through doing what you do, fuck people who think like that. Seriously, fuck you. You change the world by doing what you do every single day in whatever small corner of the world you are in. Regardless of what you're doing, you can change the world by doing what you do the way you do it. I think I have a cat hair on my face and it's driving me nuts. My cat loves to nuzzle me. She loves to go up to my face, and it's the cutest thing in the world, but she sheds because it's summertime and it drives me nuts. Come here, Blackberry. Let people see how pretty you are. Come here, girl. Come here. Come up on the table. Good girl. Good girl. And that's been really cool. And again, it's like I've used this platform of computer repair to talk about so many different topics in life and business and ethics and everything else. And it just shows like you really can. Like you really can change the world through something as simple and inconsequential as computer repair. And the other thing that I've really enjoyed doing with this channel, something I've really had fun with, is humanizing consumer electronics repair. So one of the things that I talk about a lot here is, man, you're shedding like crazy. Good girl. One of the things I've talked a lot here about is that right to repair bill. So, I'm not happy about things like not having rights to schematics, not being able to buy, not being able to buy diagnostic tools or software if I were willing to pay for it. A lot of things irritate me. And I find that the easy thing to do, and what most people would probably do, is get up here and go, today, I'd like to spend a minute to talk about this bill and why you really should just take a little bit of your time to write in this, that, and the other. And I did a video where I tried doing that, and for the most part, got a lot of views, but didn't really do much to create change. But what I think I'm doing here, what I think that's going on that's really, really cool, is I think that what I'm doing is, again, without even noticing it, I feel like I've actually kind of gone and made consumer electronics something that's cool. And the reason I say that is because the whole idea here, again, was if you're somebody who's down on your luck, you have a brain, you're willing to work for something, you have a couple of $100 saved, you watch these videos, you go down to a local recycler, you give them $100 to buy all these different things that you may be able to fix, and you fix them, and you sell them, and you make a business doing that. Like, I thought that was maybe something that people may be able to do, right? And that was the idea. But then I'll get these messages from people like, hi, I'm an attorney, and I want to learn this, that, and the other. What soldering iron would you recommend? And it's like, what? And I'll just start talking to them about their life, and it'll become obvious that they're a partner in a firm. Wait, their salary, like absolute minimum salary for a partner in that type of firm has got to be like $600,000 a year. And it's like, what? What? You know when grade A, under A does that thing where he's like, what? And you see the little guy's chin go, and his eyes get angry, and he's like, what? Like with little stick figures, like I'll do that same double take, like what? Like if you don't watch Grade A Under A's channel, you should watch it. It's some really cool stuff. But I'll do that little double take. It's like, wait, so you make somewhere between $200,000 to $700,000 a year. So why do you want to try running wires over $600 motherboards to make the RTC circuit again? Like, work again? Like, what? Why? And a part of it is that they actually look up to this. They find it cool. So they look up to how I run my business. They look up to my business ethics and what I talk about there. So then some of these people actually start kind of wanting to emulate some of the things I do. And part of that is the electronics repair aspect of it. So in some way, and this was never what I was trying to do. Again, I thought I was speaking to an audience of about 300 people who do this and just helping them fix stuff for them. The people that started where I did in this business. I really thought I was only speaking to those people. But then, you realize the amount of people that are actually watching this stuff. He was a good kitty. He was a good kitty. Good girl. That I'm talking to these people that actually make damn good livings. Like, they have a nice mansion for a home. They have their yacht. They have their nice car. And this is just something I want to do as a hobby because it's cool. And this is something that I genuinely imagine would not have happened if I hadn't done these videos. Because I'll see, because all these messages, they start the same way. They start, I never thought about electronics repair or trying this, but I've watched 20 of your videos, and now I want to try this, that, and the other. What microscope would you recommend? And I'll start talking to them. It's really not when I'm talking about the electronics, it's when I get to talking about their life that I notice that this shift in culture is occurring. Because this is a nerdy thing to do. Yet it's something that people are actually, that people are actually finding kind of cool. And that's the way I think I'm going to create real change in this business. It's not going to be by getting up here and just talking about the right to repair bill once a year, talking about how I can't get schematics and the injustice of not being able to replace a fucking battery on your own products. I don't think that's going to be at all how I wind up making any type of change. The way that I'm going to make change here is, I think the way I'm going to make change is by actually making this something that people want to do. So if I can get the everyman to think that what I do is cool, and I can get the everyman to actually want to do this as a hobby again, and I can get the everyman to watch the challenges that I go through every day while they're learning, while they're watching these videos every day, see, oh, wouldn't it be great if Lewis would be able to do this, but he can't because he can't get a schematic. Why is that? Wouldn't it be great if Lewis were able to do this repair in 10 minutes instead of 2 hours if he could just buy that part new, but he can't? Excuse me. Why is that? There's so much cat hair on this table now. Sorry, Barry. Jesus. Cats do love to shed in the summertime, let me tell you what. But I think if I can actually make electronic repair cool, that's where I'm going to inspire some change in the legal system. That's where somebody eventually someday is going to notice. If this channel gets to 1 or 2 or 5 million subscribers, companies like Apple are not really going to be able to hide anymore from this shit. Because the thing is, most consumers don't understand. Most consumers have no fucking concept of the idea that the reason that I cannot work on their product is because it is too new and nobody has stolen the schematic and uploaded it to some shady Russian FTP site that I can then download it from, so I can't find where the component is that controls sleeping on your motherboard. Like shit like that. Oh, God, cat hair. Shit like that. Again, they have no idea, but if you get 100,000 or 200,000 or 1 million regular people, or 2 million, who knows what this channel's, if you get 1 million regular people to watch this shit, and then start empathizing with the process and start realizing that we are humans, that electronics repair people are not little drones that work inside of work inside of factories that just exist to screw people. When they realize that we're real people with real ideas, that we can think on our own, that we have our own problems, and that we are just like them, except we do this as a job, and this is what we have to put up with. I don't think that the current system is a system that is going to stick around very long. I think that things will have to change in some way, shape, or form. And I think that's how I'm going to get some legislative change to happen. Again, it's not going to be by talking about the right to repair bill or doing a video about it like I did last year. It's going to be humanizing this business. And when I get these questions in the comments, we're like, oh, Lewis, why can't you get a battery that works for that product? Lewis, when you say you have that $8,000 machine in the corner that can solder BGA chipsets, why do you never use that to fix this problem? Oh, because the chips that I can buy are ones that are taken off of dead boards. Why can't you buy new ones? I don't know. Why can't I buy new ones? It's just one of those things that I think I can actually create some change here. And the reason I think I can create some change here is because I've created a decent amount already. Again, as I talked about in that Matthew Santoro video that I did, like just 4 years ago, if a customer opened their computer and saw a wire running from the top of their board to the bottom with green fucking conformal code on it, on an Apple machine, that's a chargeback. Like, that's a chargeback. Everybody wanted to know, are you authorized? Are you certified? Are you authorized? This is void my warranty, blah, blah, blah. And then it really didn't get to me until like 3 or 4 months ago. It really didn't occur to me that this change in culture, that this paradigm shift occurred when I got this email from a customer saying, oh, everything is working amazing, man, thanks. I actually opened the bottom of the computer. I knew that you were gonna run a wire on my board. I just had a feeling I knew you were gonna run a wire. That's why I sent it to you. I sent it to you because I knew you were gonna run a wire and I just wanted to see where you ran it. And in this computer, all the fucking capacitors, they're not sitting on the backlight rail. They're all standing up like this and they're all standing up like this and all the components in the backlight rail are standing up like this because the backlight rail is shorted to ground, so everything's kind of standing in a funny way, and I have this little wire running over it all like a fucking monorail. So the capacitors are the pillars holding up the monorail, and the wire is the monorail until it gets to the LCD connector. And somebody, you know how many people would have filed a chargeback if they opened their computer and saw that shit 4 years ago? Now, people are actually sending it to me instead of somebody else because of the wire. Because the wire itself has become cool. The process of diagnostics in electronics is something that became cool. And that's something that I never fucking intended to do. I never intended to make this something that attorneys that have no interest in electronics want to do because they saw somebody doing it on the internet and it seemed like a cool thing to do. But it's something that's happening, and you know what? Instead of question it or doubt it or make fun of it, I'm gonna fucking run with it. If I can get all these people to be interested in this, if I can get so many people to actually watch this shit and have an interest in it, maybe that's the way I'm gonna get some legislative change. Maybe that's the way I'm gonna get to get to the ears of the politicians. Maybe that's the way I'm gonna be able to finally someday have a manual on how to do my job, rather than have to fucking hope that it shows up on a Russian FTP site. And that's something that I think is pretty cool. Again, like just seeing this shift in culture towards repair being something that people are actually doing and finding cool. Like again, when I got that thing in the mail, another milestone for me was getting that wireless mic set up in the mail from somebody. It was like $1,000 setup, like a really expensive one. Not even the microphone, just the fucking transmitter and everything. It had to have been like $1,000 setup from Sennheiser. And in the box, there was a note that said, Louis, thank you for everything you put up. Every time I use one of your repair videos tactics is to repair something from the hospital I work at, I save them $100,000. Thank you. Just thinking about that. Because now, this shit that I'm doing totally goes beyond making somebody's cell phone work again so that they can get their pictures. It goes totally beyond making somebody's laptop work again so that they could finish a recording session they were doing or editing an independent documentary that they don't have a budget for. It goes beyond that. Like a hospital? I mean, just the idea of a defibrillator being something that somebody fixed by running a fucking jumper wire under a BGA chip, that scares the piss out of me. But all humor aside, this is something that's not only becoming cool, but it's becoming mainstream. It's becoming something that people do. Two things that again, they're applying it where I never thought they would apply it. And the fact that somebody's applying what I'm teaching here to working in a hospital. Again, I don't teach from an electronics engineer's perspective. I don't teach from a textbook perspective. I teach from a practical perspective of how can we get this done in 5 to 20 minutes, ensure that it's going to work, ensure that we understand what caused the main fault so it won't happen again, so that it's actually worthwhile. Like just the teaching from that perspective has allowed it to be applied to so many different fields. That's pretty cool because I think that this channel's purpose has gone far beyond what I originally thought, which was just using it as personal therapy. Reaching to this amount of subscribers it has now. Again, it's not about me. I'm not the important part. I'm not the special person, and I'm not somebody that deserves any level of respect or admiration from anybody. I'm just a pissant that records his job and puts it on the internet. But I think that the purpose of this channel overall has become something far greater than myself. The purpose of this channel is to humanize the idea of electronics repair. And also, it's become to make it something that other people see as cool so that we can then advance the rights of the people that do this. and really create some change in the world. Because again, I was talking to Jessa about this the other day, and she was saying that it doesn't matter how many repair shops open, it doesn't matter how many people we teach in person, we're never going to stop the flow of, it's like kind of, it's like putting your finger up to a pipe that's dumping pollution into into the ocean. It's just you're not going to stop it. There is so much shit. There's so many $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 pieces of machinery ending up in landfills. Not even e-waste or recycling, ending up in landfills that require 17-cent part to be soldered onto it for that $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 thing to work again. And all that shit is being thrown away far faster than somebody like me can fix it. So the purpose of this channel, I think, is to make this into something cool. To get every single person out there, everyman out there with some free time to decide, you know what? Instead of sitting down, drinking beer, and doing nothing tonight, I'm going to go to the local recycling plant and see if I can pick up something that I can fix. And see if I can sell that to somebody that couldn't afford a new one. And see if I can sell that to somebody who's then going to do something cool with it. And let's see if I can repeat that. I think the purpose of this channel is to help. I think the purpose of this channel is to give back to humanity in a way that I really never thought would be possible. Again, it has nothing. It's not about me. It's a purpose that I think is going to be far greater than just me fucking filming myself doing my job. I think the purpose of this channel is going to be helping other people achieve financial independence, helping other people realize the flaws in their own businesses through all the mistakes that I've made, and above all, making electronics repair something that people not just learn how to do as a job, but something that's cool, to the point where a lawyer who's making $600,000 a year on his free time wants to know what microscope and soldering iron I'm using so that he can work on some circuit projects that he would have never even tried if he didn't see my channel. I think that this little channel over here, even though it only has 100,000 subscribers right now, I think this channel is probably one of the catalysts, one of the early catalysts to stopping the e-waste problem, and all to fixing the e-waste problem, to fixing this issue of shit just being thrown away faster than anybody can hope to repair it, stuff that's worth good money, and also making this something that's cool, making this something that is humanized and empathized in the eyes of regular people, so that maybe someday I can just buy chips that I need. Maybe someday we can actually have sources for schematics and manuals on how to repair the products that we own. And I think that would be a much better world to live in, don't you? Anyway, those are my thoughts for today. I originally intended for this to be a 2 or 4 minute video, but who are we kidding? I think it's impossible for me to make one of those. And that's about that. So again, if you've been subscribed for all this time, thank you very much for being subscribed, watching the content, enjoying the content, and above all, again, as I always say, no Patreon, none of that shit. If you want to pay me back for the content that I've created, show me what you've done with it. I want to, again, upload a video to YouTube of something you fixed, whether it's a defibrillator for a hospital or a fucking pinball machine. Show me what you've done with the content I've created. That is more rewarding than anything else to me. Again, some people have said, you look at him pretending he doesn't care about money. Isn't that fake? It really doesn't have to do with that. It's just, I do care about money. That's why I run a business with prices that are where they are, and that's why I work hard. I don't know what it is. It just kind of feels fucking tacky. It's like I make money off of YouTube ads. Not a lot, but I make some money off of YouTube ads. And then I record my job, and my job is literally making $200 to $400 in 20 minutes. So I'm like, look at this. I made $200 to $400 in 20 minutes. Now give me some more money now, sir. I don't know. I don't know. I just can't wrap my head around how fucked up it would be for a channel like this to have a Patreon. I just can't. Again, like I'm filming. I'm doing that again. Like that's the money for me. And then the YouTube ad revenue is like a bonus on top. It's like the cherry on top of my ice cream. And now I'm saying I don't have enough ice cream. So if you want to thank me, if you really want to thank me, don't use the donate button. What I want you to do is upload a video to YouTube and show me what you've done with the material on this channel. Show me what you've created. Show me what you've built. Show me what you've made better. Show me the advancements you've made, even as small as they may be. That's what I want to see. And that's something I'm really going to be encouraging people to share as this channel gets bigger and grows. What have you done with the content I've put up here? And if you've done anything interesting with it, I want to see. So that's it for today. And as always, thank you for watching.